Success is simply a matter of luck. Ask any failure, Earl Wilson. My friends, our success, we make it every day, 10 to 15 minutes learning how to track these stock charts. Everything rebounding up for the day. Had some sideways sliding yesterday, a little bit of down movement, but we see stocks, bonds, gold, and Bitcoin all up for the day. Now, we see when we look at the S&P 500, we pushed through 200 EMA, things slid sideways and then popped up in the morning, a little higher up in the afternoon, up 1.57%. We're on the green when it comes to the STC. And when we look at the 2-day chart, it is likewise pushing through the 200 EMA there in the green. We just have green going all the way. What about the weekly? Of course, it is in the green also. And of course, that switched over this week, which is nice to see things moving in the right direction. And of course, as we look, if I bring this in a little bit, you can see we're back on the week beginning the 13th of June, bounced off that 200 EMA. So moving in the right direction here, no matter what's going on in the world. Of course, if you print enough money, inflate the currency enough, you can get things like this going on. Why? Because the stock market represents real things. And if there is inflation, potentially what you can have happen is the value of real things go up, not in and of themselves. It could be just by nothing but printing more money. That's what inflation is all about, like blowing up a balloon, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Let's move on from the S&P 500, go to the Nasdaq 100. What do we see there? Booming up, 2.72%. Of course, it was sliding sideways yesterday and then just rocketed off, heading up there. We look at the 2-day. Of course, it is now touching, almost touching on that wick, the 200 EMA on the 2-day. And of course, we can see where a few weeks ago we bounded off that 200 EMA on the weekly and actually switched over last week on this weekly chart heading up. So we've got a lot of energy pushing things up as we, again, start moving through the summertime trading zone, and before you know it, we'll be in the fall-winter trading zone, but still in this summertime. We'll see how things continue to develop. Now, look at what happened. We had things bound down yesterday in bonds and then pop up today, and we see where things actually in the morning, we saw where things had popped up and then down in the afternoon yesterday, reverting over the STC into the red, then pounded down in the morning and then recovered in the afternoon. So very interesting the way that all, it actually went down one average true range, did not make it down to 2. So we'll see where this leads us, up 1.75% for the day. We look at the 2-day, it is still green, a spinning top that we see forming there. And we look at the weekly chart, and of course it is in the green too on the STC and on the candles. Still got a long ways to go to get anywhere near that 200 EMA on that weekly chart, but we do see weeks of upward movement as bonds try to recover. So now we're going to go back to the half-day chart. Take a look at where gold is, up for the day 0.24%. We can see where things were down in the morning. Actually, that gold down move started yesterday afternoon. Did recover a little bit by the end of the day. These are Heikin Ashi candlesticks, of course. We see that the STC is still green, and of course we are below the 200 EMA on gold. We look at the 2-day chart. It too is below the 200 EMA. We, on these last 2 days, have not hit the highs on those prior 2-day candles. but we will continue to watch and see where gold goes. The STC is green. On the weekly, not green yet. Spinning top last week, some up movement the week before. So we'll keep our eye on gold. You can see where we bounded off 2 weeks ago, bounded off that 200 EMA. So gold trying to make a recovery. Perhaps we shall see as time moves along. Still got a ways to go before we'll look at going long in gold. Now, let's move away from gold, go to Bitcoin. What do we see going on there? We'll tighten this up a little bit so you can get a feel for where we are on the half-day chart. Bitcoin recovered some, sideways down, popped back up, and it's still holding below that $23.40 or so mark, $23.40, something like that. Is it going to break out and move higher? Don't know. STC, maybe it's going to be working again for us. When we had this long sideways slide, it got pretty sloppy on us. We look at the 2-day chart. Of course, it is in the green, still has quite a ways to go on Bitcoin to recover before we hit that 200 EMA. Of course, we can find that on the 24-hour Bitcoin chart, but we are in the green, trying to move up. We look at the weekly chart, and of course, we've got a long, let me tighten this up some for you, a long way to go before we're going to be able to get back to where we had been, you know, in those good old days of $69,000 top. And again, we're looking at XBTF, which is the Van Eck Bitcoin future, short-term future. And we do have, you know, again, 3 weeks of green candles. We've seen some of this before it rolled over last time. So a little bit of trepidation there, a little bit of gun shyness. And of course, we shall be waiting, watching, and seeing when Bitcoin's going to penetrate that 200 EMA on this half-day chart. We'll be standing by. Thanks again, friends, for all of you who are supporting us at our Patreon page. We so appreciate that. Next week, next Wednesday, we'll be having a live question and answer call-in session. Go ahead and start sending your questions to us, your favorite stocks and ETFs you would like us to help you backtrack for practice trading. That is all of our Patreon supporters at any of the 3 levels. And we just appreciate not just our Patreon folks, we appreciate everybody. And of course, the things you tend to support tend to stay around. Thanks so much, friends. God bless from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.